Every Premier League season, the three promoted teams are tipped to go back down to the Championship at the first time of asking, and it's fair enough I suppose. Who knows how they adapt from Championship football to Premier League football? This season we've got Newcastle United, Brighton and Huddersfield Town as our hat-trick of promoted teams, all of whom have been tipped for the drop at various points in the season so far for different reasons. So how likely is it that the promoted teams will survive in the Premier League this season? We've gone all the way back to the beginning of the Premier League, looking at how the promoted teams have done every season and whether or not they were able to survive in their first season in the Premier League. For Huddersfield and Brighton, this is their first season playing in the Premier League, but Newcastle have been up and down between the top flight and second tier since the Premier League began in 1992, first achieving promotion in 1993 as champions and surviving with relative ease in their first Premier League campaign, finishing third with 77 points, back when there were 22 teams in the top flight. Following relegation in 2009, the Magpies bounced back at the first time of asking, yet again coming up as champions and again were able to survive in their first season back, finishing 12th under Chris Hughton and then Alan Pardew, recording 46 points as they narrowly missed out on a top half finish. So all three times that Newcastle have been promoted, they came up as champions, and the first two times they survived, meaning the odds are in Rafa Benitez's side's favour this campaign, and they've started brightly, picking up 11 points from their opening 8 games to put them in the top half. In contrast, Brighton are 14th so far after picking up 8 points, while David Wagner's Huddersfield are doing slightly better, sitting in 12th with 9 points. So all three sides have gotten off to decent enough starts, but we've seen questions asked of all three already. Newcastle lost their opening 2 games of the season, where a lot of pundits wrote them off. Brighton are yet to have any sustained form and seem to be struggling for goals, while Huddersfield are without a win since they beat Newcastle in match week 2, making it 6 games without a victory, and they've only scored once since Aaron Moy's winner against Newcastle. Let's take a look at the stats and look at how promoted teams have performed throughout the years. There have been 75 teams promoted to the Premier League, with 35 different sides, since it began back in 1992, 35 of which were relegated straight back to the Championship, or First Division as it used to be known. While 47% of promoted teams are relegated in their first season, we have seen teams overperform on multiple occasions, with 14 promoted sides achieving a top half finish, with Newcastle and Nottingham Forest both achieving third place finishes in 1994 and 1995 respectively. So 35 of 75 promoted teams have been relegated straight away, but does the position they were promoted from matter, be it as champions, runners-up or winners of the playoffs? Well, there have been 25 championship winners, 9 of whom were relegated. Out of the 24 teams that won automatic promotion from finishing second in the Championship, 9 were relegated, whereas 15 of the 25 playoff winners finished their season in the Premier League in the drop zone. So clearly, achieving automatic promotion does have an impact, and finishing in the top 2 of the Championship makes your team more likely to survive in the Premier League than coming up via the drama of the playoffs. So that's a cause for concern for Huddersfield, who won promotion to the Premier League by beating Reading on penalties in the playoff final. So how many points are actually needed for survival? Well, apparently the magic number is 40, but the lowest points recorded by a promoted side for survival was 34 in 2005 by West Brom, who became the first team to survive in the Premier League after being bottom of the league on Christmas. There have been 8 instances of teams surviving with lower than 40 points, including West Brom in 2005, but the most points recorded by a promoted team that saw them relegated was 45 in 1995, which saw Crystal Palace drop into the second tier. However, during that season there were 22 teams in the Premier League, so the biggest amount of points recorded by a promoted team in a 38 game season that saw them relegated is 40, which saw Bolton Wanderers finish 18th in 1998. So more often than not, 40 points will guarantee survival, but what are the chances of all 3 promoted sides achieving survival? Well, in 25 Premier League seasons, it's only happened twice, in 2002 and 2012. So it's not common for all 3 teams to survive, but it's more likely than all 3 teams going down, which has only ever happened once back in 1998, when Bolton, Barnsley and Palace went down after 1 season in the Premiership. So those are the facts and figures of how promoted teams perform in their first season in the Premier League. Who do you think will go down this season? And will it be one or more of Newcastle, Brighton or Huddersfield? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.